Hello, welcome back to writerlywitterings, and the tea-drinking author with no cup of tea right now because apparently if you drink too much tea it can make you slightly anemic, so I've been told to lay off a bit. Nothing that's fun is allowed when you get to my age. Hey-ho. Right, one thing that's not allowed is to record a 15-minute video and then check your microphone, because when you do, you may well find that the little button at the bottom here that says mute might have been pressed all the time. Not impressed with myself. Last week, I had the fun of talking about white pens. Now, on Friday the 13th, I had an operation on this arm, on this elbow in fact. I had a trapped nerve. The ulnar nerve was trapped. It's called cubital tunnel syndrome. I won't go into details. You can look it up yourself on the internet. But made for an interesting day on Friday. I'll probably get a short story out of that. However, it has meant that I haven't been able to use a keyboard or do anything much since then, 5 days ago. I'm recording this on the Wednesday. Actually, what is the date? It's Wednesday the 18th. And as a result, as I say, I haven't had a chance to do anything much. I can't write. I have started sketching. I'll show you what I've been sketching. There you go. That is my daughter's puppy. I'm quite pleased with that. As a little sketch, it works. But last week, if you watch those videos, you'll know that I was looking at a couple of white pens, because white pens can be useful if you're doing craft, if you're doing writing around photos, for example, that you've stuck on black paper, or if you're doing watercolours and you want to have whiskers showing on a dog, such as are here. But I think I said that I was not very happy because I contacted Pentel because their pen just didn't work, and I wasn't very impressed with that. So I contacted them and they said, oh yes, that's terrible, we'll send you a new one, and nothing came. But then it did. So my profuse apologies to Pentel. It wasn't their fault. I think it was a case of the Royal Mail not succeeding to get their pen to me in the time that was expected. And I have to admit, this is a vast improvement over the last one. It works. I've been using it a bit. I will be using it and testing it fairly extensively, and I think so far I've been very impressed. So that's good. What else have I been doing? Well, because my fingers are still not quite functioning properly, I've obviously not had the physiotherapy. The cast comes off tomorrow, and then I'll know better how the injury is healing and whether my fingers are going to come back or not. But I did manage that one sketch, and it was a quick sketch. I didn't have much time. I just wanted to get the essence of the little puppy down on paper. How do you do that? Well, I've discovered these new things. I was watching a video from someone else, and I'm afraid to my shame I didn't make a note of who it was. I cannot remember. But he did these interesting and very nice quick sketches of cityscapes and towns. He'd do just 2 or 3 buildings, or he'd do some buildings in a village. And they were quick and they were nice, because what he used was some fibre tip pens to mark in the different tonal values. So he'd get some that were quite a warm colour grey, some that were a colder grey, and he would mark in the windows or the shadows and things like that on his original sketch, and then he'd watercolour over that, which gave the colour. And because he had already marked in where the tone was, the watercolour just floated over the top and made use of it. So it gave you the impression of depth with the side of buildings or the side of pavements or the side of chimney breasts, anything like that. It was really very effective. I was so impressed, I went out and bought 3 of those pens. And here they are. Now, if you know me, and you've watched my past videos, you'll know that one company I really have a lot of time for is Tombow. Tombow make a pencil called the Mono 100, which is, to my mind, one of the 2 best pens manufactured today. The 2 I think are best are the Blackwing and the Mono 100. The Blackwing has the advantage that it has got a rubber, or sorry for my American viewers, an eraser set in the top. The Tombow has an advantage that it doesn't have a rubber or eraser, but it's fully round. If you know a Blackwing, you'll know that the eraser is a little rectangular thing that sits in a rectangular slot. I haven't got one here that I can show you, but it is a rectangular setting, which means that if you've got a pencil extender like my Faber-Castell Perfect Pencil, you can't use it with the Blackwing because that rectangular top doesn't fit in a Faber-Castell or any other standard pencil extender. If you want a pencil extender, then you have to purchase the special one made by Blackwing. Now, that's not a problem for a lot of people, I know, but I can't justify that. I have my Faber-Castell Perfect Pencil in my shirt pocket almost all day, every day. And when I use it, my pencil stubs end up being about 1 inch long in total, which is great. It works very well for me. I was just going to pick up my iPad, turn the camera around and give you a picture of a very contented looking Malinois who is lying on her back on my window seat with all paws in the air and a deeply satisfied look on her face. But I can't see on this device how I turn the thing round. So I can't do that. I'm afraid you're going to have to just take my word for it that she looks very comfortable there. So what makes these really so good? I'll tell you what makes them so good. One thing is this. They have a sort of a brush thing there, symbol, and at the other end they have a sort of fine liner symbol. And the reason is this is a 2-ended pen. They all are. They have a more or less brush type effect with that end and a fine liner tip at that end. So for me, I can sketch with these things. I can sketch the outline of the dog's face, say, or some buildings in the street using the fine liner, and then I can shade in with the other end to give colder, darker, warmer, darker, different effects. And it's just fantastic. It is so quick and easy to use these. They are water-based, so you can use them fully with watercolours. They will run and they will merge into the watercolour if you want them to. Obviously, if you just want to do a very quick sketch, let these dry off, watercolour over the top, and you'll still see this showing through with a hard edge as you want it. But if you want them to mingle with watercolour, go wet on wet, you can do. They're easy. If I had any criticism about them at all, it would just be that they're actually quite long to fit in a shirt pocket or anything. I've got a pen case that was given to me some time ago that's made in Turkey by a Galen leather, and it's just a cloth pencil case, which is just the right size to take these, an A5 sketchbook, and a small watercolour set with a watercolour pen. And that is all I need when I'm out and about. It's just superb. So handy and so convenient. So I can thoroughly recommend these. Now, as I say, I saw them on a website with an artist who was giving demonstrations. He did one of a bridge in Germany, in Hamburg, I think. He did another of a sketch of a village street in Beaconsfield or somewhere similar. And one thing he said was, in answer to some of the questions coming through, yeah, they are a bit expensive, really. Well, I looked into them, and you can find these on the internet for £5 and £6. That's pounds to people who aren't English and don't speak the lingo. But I have to say, I have nothing to do with cult pens. I'm not affiliated. I don't get money for anything that's bought from them. I don't get special perks or anything. I bought these. I buy things from them regularly. I don't get things for free. I've always found them utterly reliable, very pleasant to deal with, very professional, just really good people. It used to be the case before COVID that if you ordered anything from them, it would turn up the next day. Doesn't happen now. Since COVID, things have gone slightly haywire. Now it's 2 days before everything turns up. Before COVID, there used to be a minimum order, I think, of £10. That suddenly went up to 15, and now it's a minimum order value, I think, of 30 to get free delivery. Well, that means I don't order so often, but I have no relationship, no affiliation with cult pens. So what I would say is, do by all means look around, but when I bought these, I looked at all different websites, and I couldn't find them cheaper than cult pens. They were £3 something each. I don't think £3 something each is particularly expensive, and in fact, I will be buying more of them. Now, the great thing about these Tombow two-ended pens is that not only are they really good and convenient, they have a huge range of colours. I first got to know of them because my daughter was using them to do calligraphy because she became a bullet journalist. She got a bullet journal and she was using these to write the clever rounded letters on each page. I never had the patience to do that. When I want to write something, I just want to get it down quick and dirty onto the page. But I can easily understand how people would like them because not only have they got these superb greys, they also have a vast number of other colours and shades. So if you want to do watercolouring, you could buy one of their sets, and that would really set you off really astonishingly well. But it would mean you had a lot of carrying around to do. For me, these three, I think, are going to be ideal. I've got a black, not fibre tip, it's a water brush type pen, but it's permanent black. That's really handy. And if I go back to the picture I showed you earlier of the dog, you can see here where I did the basic sketch originally in pencil, then added to it slightly to make the ears correct. Most of the ears were done in a fairly warm dark grey. Then I did around the eyes with a very dark grey, which I then topped up with the black fibre pen or brush pen. The nose and so on was in black, but much of it you can see the different shades of grey in the picture as I hold it up there. The raw sienna was put in afterwards because she has got sort of golden tinges to her eye, and there where the shadows looked a bit bluer, I put in blue, so above my finger there on that eye. The whites in her eyes were done mostly with the Pentel pen, as were these bristles. What do you call them? Can't think what you do call them, but those bristles were done with the white pen too. Very photogenic and pretty little dog she is. She does look particularly ridiculous when she's on her back with all four paws sticking up in the air. If I can take a photo later, I will. Anyhow, that is pretty much it. I'm very restricted in what I can do right now because of this blasted hand. You're privileged to see it. This is the first thing I've been doing without wearing a sling. It seems to be working. That's good. The next thing is, because of the diabetes, I've got to go in and get my eye lasered because of some damage that was done because of diabetes. If you're not aware that you've got diabetes because you have no symptoms, do not believe that necessarily means you're getting away with anything. Personally, I had no symptoms whatsoever, and I must have, according to the optician, had diabetes for at least 10 years. The amount of damage that's been done to my eyes is that significant. So I'm going to be looking at how to get a podcast or blog or vlog going all about diabetes before too long, because I've been shocked by how much damage has been done to my body, and there's a lot of other people who are having exactly the same damage done to their bodies because they aren't aware of the dangers. So I think that's probably going to be a worthwhile thing to do. Anyway, that's all for now. Off tomorrow to get my cast done, and somebody's just coming to the door, so I've got to go. And here I am again. And all I can say is, the bloke knocked on the door, so the dog got down, so you can't see her waving her paws in the air anyway. Never mind. This is just to say thanks a lot for your support. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget, if you go and hit the like button and then the subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified of new videos, then what it means is I go further up the table on YouTube, and that means more people are likely to hear about the channel. So if you do those good things, I'll be very grateful. Apart from that, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your support. And I'll see you hopefully in a week's time. And I'll give you an update on this flaming arm then. I think that's it. Right, I better go and edit this now. Thanks a lot. I should just say, this is take 2, because the original video I recorded, I hit that mute button by accident when I moved the microphone, so the whole thing was silent. 15 minutes of silence. I can imagine quite a few people would have enjoyed that rather than this. Never mind. See you in a week. Bye.